Today, we're introducing Lily. Lily, let's go ahead and get into your introduction. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, my name is Lily, and I have a TikTok account. I'm also known as 111 Moonchild on social media. I do tarot readings with customers, and I also just post my videos of tarot readings and spirituality, astrology, all of that stuff in general. And I've been doing that for about 2 years now.
Oh, awesome. So just with that introduction, Lily, what made you want to get into tarot card readings? Like what was your whole vibe?
So I've always been into the fortune telling and the psychics and stuff. I always found that stuff so cool. And then one day I was scrolling on YouTube, going down a rabbit hole on YouTube, like always at 3 a.m. Yeah. And I got to a tarot reading video for my zodiac sign. And I watched the tarot reading and I thought it was literally 100% accurate. And it was only towards my zodiac sign. So that's when I really started getting into tarot readers. I went to a professional psychic who did my reading through tarot. And actually she predicted I would end up reading tarot and having customers and starting this and all of that. So I got very interested. My friend bought me my first deck for my birthday because apparently you're supposed to have someone gift you your first deck. And I started practicing. This was around 3 years ago. And yeah, I fell in love with it. I started practicing on family and friends, and they told me I was great and I have a gift. So I've been doing it since then, and I love it. I fell in love.
Awesome. That's so sick. Alex, you got any questions?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that popped up immediately was, why do they say that someone should gift you your first tarot card deck?
Yeah.
So honestly, at first I was confused on that because I guess it's like some sort of old wives' tale or some sort of like, a myth, I guess. But they said if you're meant to read it, you will be gifted the deck. So it will tarot will find you. You shouldn't go and find tarot. So I guess that's why they say like it should be gifted to you, because that would mean you were kind of the chosen one to be one of the readers. So I'm just thankful it happened to me.
That's so sick. Now, when it comes to like tarot card readings and like oracle readings, there's a lot of controversy, right? So there's like some people who really believe in it, and then there's others who are extremely against it because they don't see like the science behind it, or they're extremely like factual people. But obviously, there's certain things that we can't even explain in science that have to do a lot more with just like belief and whatnot. And how did you, at least at your beginning, like how did you kind of maneuver that whole problematic area?
So honestly, for me, like you said, a lot of people are completely against tarot, and usually if they're against it because of the science, but also because of the belief that we're the ones who create our reality. We're the ones who manifest what comes. So a lot of people actually confuse tarot and psychic readings and think that they predict the future. Tarot does not predict the future. So I always tell my customers that tarot doesn't predict the future, but it's basically advice and guidance for what's currently going on in your life and what you really need to hear right now. So once people realized what I was saying, they were like, oh, so you're just picking up on the energy of what's currently going on and like what path you're currently going down and where that path is going to lead to. And I was like, yeah, nothing I say is set in stone. So that's what I always tell my customers. And that's what that's why people started liking me as a tarot reader, because I never really told them like, this is exactly what's going to happen and you can't change. It's not your fate. It's not your destiny or anything like that. So I guess people started realizing, okay, so it just picks up on current energy and it gives you advice and insight and guidance because everything is energy. So I guess that's how people started like getting into it and like understanding it more. But yeah, people who usually are against it are the ones who think that it predicts the future, or it tells you like what's going to happen.
And I don't really even understand that, because like that would almost be like predestination, right? So like basically stating that everyone would already have a set future that they cannot control. But in the essence of when you're telling yourself what your own future is going to be, reading a tarot card or having a tarot card reading would just be helping you along the way to be like, watch out for this, or like be ready for this exact thing that's going to happen. And I think that's pretty sick. And or Alex, how do you feel about tarot cards? Like what's your whole feeling? I've never actually asked you this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, similar to like most people, like I don't really have much knowledge about it, and I think that's kind of why I wanted to be involved in this whole conversation, is just to learn more about it. And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, everyone just needs to be more educated on the topics. I think that's the ultimate goal for everything. And especially in today's day and age, people are so quick to judge and to come to a conclusion before they even know all the details of the stories. So I'm kind of here as as a representative of people who haven't really dove much into it. If anything, I've really just kind of looked at the meanings behind the cards, but I know, Lily, you were talking about how it's more about the energy about when you're reading the cards more than like the actual meaning and stuff. There's a whole another layer to it.
Exactly. Sometimes I'll pull a card, and sometimes, let's say the card represents one definition or whatever definition. I won't even use the definition of the card. If my intuition is telling me I have to look at the pictures of the card, sometimes I pull a card and it's the picture that tells me what's currently going on or what's currently happening, whether it be the red hair that the person on the card has, if that could like describe someone in the situation. So yeah, it's all based off of intuition. That's what tarot is. It's 95% intuition and 5% the actual definition of the card.
Gotcha. And like with like the tarot card readings that you do you like ever do them on yourself? Like has that like have you ever like had it like benefit you in like certain ways? Like can you do them on yourself?
You know what's funny? The first few times I've tried doing it on myself, I would get either very anxious or I'd get very angry and I would not be able to read it at all. So I used to say I can't read tarot on myself because I couldn't. My energy was all over the place. I had no clue what I was reading. But then I realized it was my ego getting in the way. So if I saw something that I didn't want to hear, I'd act like, oh yeah, that's not there. That card didn't come out. So I'll like put the card back in. I'll reshuffle and stuff. So I never really trusted myself with reading my own tarot. But now that like I don't let my ego get through and I'm not scared of what comes out. Now it's so much easier for me to read my own cards. But it is confusing. Like it can get confusing because I'll look at something and I'll be like, this is not matching up. But then later on, I'll remember the reading and I'll be like, okay, now it makes sense. Because usually tarot starts to make more sense after the reading as events start to unfold, because it usually predicts what's going on in like the near future based off of your path. So yeah, I've had a bumpy road with reading tarot with myself. So
I got you. So since it was like at the beginning, if it was kind of harder to do it, like, did you have someone that you would just be the go-to like in your area?
Yeah, I know I'd have to purchase a reading. So I'd go to someone that I trusted. Yeah, I hated doing it. I hated that I had my own deck of tarot cards and I'd purchase a reading from somebody else. So I went and I found someone online and I just started purchasing readings from her. But then once I started to get my own, like I finally let my ego be put on the side, that's when I started reading tarot on myself. And I don't do it so often. I don't recommend people get tarot readings like crazy often, more than once or twice a month.
True. Okay. Well, like, so with this, like, since we brought you on the team, you're the newest member. What, like, when it comes to like the zodiac signs and, like with this whole metaverse thing, virtual reality, where like for our like personal goal is like we have the 4D like creation of like auras, so like the auras continuously adapt within like the metaverse and whatnot. Like how do you think you could have like an influence with tarot card readings on like the aura, like almost like an update, like every time they like go through like certain adventures or like they're doing something, their auras update? Like how do you think you could incorporate yourself in that?
So since tarot cards are the insight and the guidance, I feel like I could kind of be like, I guess, what do they call it? Maybe like a checkpoint or something to see where you're headed based off of your current path, because tarot readings are all about the current path. So like you said, every time they kind of get that update, you could see further and further into your path. So like I said, I could kind of be a checkpoint, kind of guiding you, watch out for this, warning you for this, make sure you stay on this path or whatnot. So I guess it could like be incorporated the same way as it's incorporated in the real world, the physical world.
I actually, just because of what you just said, I had a huge idea. So have you ever seen like the Avengers movies? No. Okay.
But so many people have told me to watch them.
You got to watch them. There's a specific person that I'm thinking of. His name is, I think, Red Skull or something. But basically, he was like a Nazi, and he was part of like this Hydra squad, right? And he tried to get this cube, and it was an infinity stone, and basically like it had like ultimate power, that type of thing. And when he tried to use it, he got sucked into it. And because of that, he then became this eternal being that basically just showed people a path to one of the infinity stones. And he's just like this floating like entity, and he has like no legs, and he's just like floating there. We can make like a specific avatar for you. So like when someone updates their aura, it could be like you can pop up, and it'd be like, all right, so this is exactly what your future, like what you need to look for in your future.
Yes. That's exactly what would be perfect for tarot.
That'd be really cool.
Alex, like with like the 4D creation, like how long do you think that's going to take, like with the back end? Like, do you think we have enough people on the back end? Do you think we need to add more?
I think it's definitely something. Oh, sorry?
For like the 4D stuff.
Yeah, so for the 4D stuff, it's going to be largely based off of like experience, and that's similar to how like when you play video games, sometimes you'll gain like XP when you accomplish missions or something like that. This is going to act in a very similar way, and considering that that's already implemented in a lot of other video games, both on like the mobile phone and then across all the sectors. It shouldn't be like necessarily like the hardest thing to incorporate. I know our research and development team, we're definitely looking into it and figuring out like all the kinks and the mechanics that have to go into it, to make sure that everything runs smoothly and that all the engines are compatible, obviously. But overall, I think it's going to be a really cool way to basically use that as part of your identity. I think that's something that here at the Spiritual DAO and Astral Kingdom as well, we're heavily want to focus on identity, and I think that's something that a lot of us can relate to. We're always trying to figure out who our true self is, and especially like in this whole spiritual journey, that's what we're kind of focusing on. Where who am I as a person, and how can I grow as myself? How can I grow spiritually? And then put myself, as Lily said earlier, put myself on the right path to become the person that I want to become, who I visualize my ideal self.
Exactly. And I mean, that's what the metaverse is all about. It's all about individuality, being who you really want to be, connecting with a certain NFT or character that really personifies who you are on the inside instead of the outside. Now, for both of you, what would be your ideal character in the metaverse? No matter Astral Kingdom, Spiritual DAO, none of that. Like, what is your ideal characters?
Alex, you want to start?
You know what? I'll go for my favorite animal. I love bears, especially like grizzly bears. They're one of my favorite animals. They're just so big, fluffy. They sleep a lot. They eat a lot. And also, I don't know, they seem very kind, but in reality, they're kind of, not saying that I'm aggressive or anything, but they're just very cute animals, and I think they're really cool. I think that's something that I would like to personify. Maybe, geez, that's a hard one. Maybe an owl. I think the owls are pretty cool. Like the big eyes, and they can turn their heads a lot. But I don't know. I mean, that's a really hard question. I'll have to think about that one for sure.
Yeah.
So,
what about you, Lily?
So, okay, I have a question. Does it have to be can it be like an object?
Yeah, it can be anything, whatever you want. This is the point.
So at first I was thinking in the animal realm. I was thinking like a bird or something, because the free spirited and all of that stuff. But then I was like, you know what, maybe that's a bit too basic. But if I'm going to be honest with you, sticking with the animal stuff, with the object stuff, I was thinking about crystals and whatever. But I always kind of, identified myself as a butterfly, which is very, very similar to a bird. So I just see myself fluttering my wings and just because I always like think of my life as like starting with like the worm and then like the caterpillar and then the cocoon and then the butterfly and all of that. I feel like that's if I could describe my life in 3 stages, that's exactly what it would be. So I'm at the butterfly.
I definitely feel that. I mean, that's like it. I never would have even thought about the butterfly, but it's like so when I think of birds, they are free spirited, but like they're aggressive sometimes, right? You know, they're fighting with other birds and they're always like, they're kind of like strumming around and whatnot. But like a butterfly, it's so peaceful. Like it'll land on you, it'll just hang out with you, and then it'll just fly away, do whatever it needs to do, or like wherever it wants to go. Yeah. Which is that's sick.
Yeah, butterflies. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
I think butterflies. That's a really good one, and just because each one of us, we kind of transition from, you know, kind of like being a kid and being really naive and not really understanding like the world and all the complications that come with it, and then you kind of gradually grow up, you mature, and you kind of your perspective changes a lot. And I think that's a really like a butterfly is a great way to I guess metaphorically kind of bring the two together of transitioning from like childhood to adulthood and just seeing yourself transition from this naive person to like this grown adult that's capable of now making their own decisions and finding out who you truly are.
It can even represent a spiritual awakening and finding out who you truly are, because there's a lot of adults who still don't want to find out who they truly are. They still haven't found out who they truly are. They're still kind of in that cocoon, not letting their free spirit out. So the butterfly stage can also represent a sort of spiritual awakening when we all kind of start off as like naive, like children and such, and then we get into our cocoon, which is kind of like hermit mode, I guess. That's what everyone starts off with in their spiritual journey, kind of that hermit mode where they block themselves out from the outside world. They spend more time alone and inside themselves rather than outside in the physical world. And then finally, when they make that breakthrough and they become who they truly are, they turn into that beautiful butterfly who just, you know, embraces who they are.
Exactly. I mean, like, and I think one of the main factors as to why like people don't ever actually find their true selves is because of the society we're in, right? We're in a society where, especially in America, where you have to make fast decisions. If they're wrong, you fuck up and that's just it. And if they're right, you just have to stick to that route until you can switch to something else. I mean, it doesn't really allow us to really be free thinkers, you know? Like for some people, if they, you know, get in at the right time, they really push for what they want to do, they can do it, but it's a lot more work. The easier route is always to just follow in the path that everyone else does, right? So, I mean, I think with the metaverse, the application of the metaverse, that it'll allow people to be a little bit more free-spirited and it'll be more enjoyable. I think it's going to be pretty fun. Hopefully the metaverse is done sooner than later. I think that's just going to be the biggest thing to hit any niche, to hit anything. Alex, like for both of y'all, what is going to be like the most exciting factor of the metaverse for y'all?
I think the coolest part right now is, at least that I look forward to, is we currently live in a society where people care a lot about what other people do. I don't understand that, you know, it's always kind of like, you know, it's not your life, you know, this is my life, let me kind of do it. And I understand like people want to guide you to make sure you're not messing up or anything. But at the same time, like, you know, people are so concerned about like, who, like, are you a he, are you a she, are you a they or them? Like, you know, with the metaverse, you can just be whoever you are. You know, I think that's the beauty of it, where you don't have to listen to someone saying, you know, getting upset, some old person getting upset because you don't fall in line with how they think the world should be, you know, ran. And at least the metaverse gives us a lot more ability to be flexible and to really experiment with what we are interested in. You know, it's hard to do that in real life because you'll just be instantly judged. And, you know, each one of us knows what it's like to be judged, and it doesn't feel good. So providing like this outlet where you can just be whoever you are, and also allow for this and being anonymous, because I can't say the word.
Anonymity.
it allows you to just be free, and talk about your identity and talk about what you believe in, and not really have to worry about people making judgments about you or saying that whatever or that you're wrong. Like, how can you say that someone else is wrong if you don't understand where they're coming from? So I think there's a lot of really cool tools that are coming forward that people are really going to appreciate.
And backtracking off of that, that's the first thing that I was thinking about, the no limitations. That's like a no limits life type of situation. So you're right, a lot of people tend to be confined into what they're currently doing, or maybe even hide themselves. And a lot of people hide themselves, they feel even more comfortable on the internet, because sometimes people get to be who they want to be on the internet. Let's say some people create characters with social media accounts and stuff. With the metaverse, it's kind of like living this life, but in a way where there's no limitations. And forget the person who you are in like the physical world. Forget the person who you are on planet Earth. This is like a different type of reality that people get to experience. And also, like we were talking about with the characters and stuff, I was serious. I would love to be a butterfly in another lifetime. So it's great that you could kind of experience what you want to be in this world. So yeah, very similar to what like your perspective is on it, but no limitations. That's like the first thing that popped up in my mind.
That's tough. That's very tough. Switching subjects a little bit. Okay, so we have our Capricorn drop coming soon, right? And we're starting to do like 3D creation and whatnot. This is like something that we have talked about. Me and Alex have talked about before. But what do you think about this, Lily? So we were thinking like doing like a playing card, right? Almost like a collectible. So like the card, or like the NFT would be like on like a card, like a Pokemon card, and the 3D or 2D model would be like holographic thing. So when like it's almost like it's moving. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like almost like
I know what you mean. Like a holo, yeah.
How do y'all feel about that?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of ways that we can make stuff like that into collectibles that people really want, or like novelty items that they can put part of their gear or something that they can kind of represent in a short way. Like if maybe they don't want to be the avatar of a goat anymore, and that's completely fine. Like be whoever you are, but if you still want to kind of portray yourself as a spiritual person, like maybe carry it, or maybe carry like the card or the collectible or the novelty item as a quick access item that people can see, or maybe a public showing where if people look at you and they want to see your profile, maybe that could be one of the things that pops up, and now they know, okay, well he or she is a spiritual individual, and that's part of your identity. I think that's going to be a really cool part about expressing yourself.
Sick. Yeah. And with these like coming drops, what is going to be y'all's favorite? That this is an important one, because I fuck with the Capricorn, right? But like I'm ready to see some new ones. I'm ready to see like the next one. What do y'all think is going to be the best?
We're still talking about the zodiac.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Listen, I'm a Cancer, but I'm excited for the Leo one, because that has to be great. That has to be awesome.
That's a lion.
Oof. Yeah, the lion. How cool would that be?
Yeah, that's gonna be sick. Alex, what about you?
Geez, as I'm a Pisces. I haven't seen many cool Pisces, so hopefully we can try and come up with a really cool design for that. I have faith. I don't know. That's hard. Honestly, it might be Cancer. I think crabs are really cool. I'm from Florida, so I see crabs on the beach all the time. I think there's some really cool things that we could do with that. But I'm also not like familiar with all the zodiacs. I know Aquarius is the water bearer.
I feel like that would be cool. The Aquarius, the watery type of like the aqua moment. I actually feel like that would be really cool too.
Yeah. Luckily there's besides Pisces at this point, there's a lot of really cool designs that have been put up, and a lot of really cool ideas. So I think there's a lot of potential there. We'll see for Pisces. I'm trying to work on something cool, but we'll see.
You got this.
Hey, well, I mean, hopefully, so we've been talking about different ways we're going to do these drops, and I don't know about you, Alex, but I definitely think that we should do them all at once, right? So like I think we should definitely start thinking about these designs. Lily, I want you in on this. I want you to help us with these designs because I think, for one, you're a girl, so that helps with us because like we may have some cool designs, but it's not going to be great for everyone, I'm guessing. Also, dude, I just based off the cancer one, right? The crabs, I just thought of like so many ideas. Like, bro, there's this whole company, it's called ECD Lax, and their logo is a crab, right? Bro, we can incorporate sports with these. And I didn't even think about that. Why didn't we think about that? Like we could do like like a crab like with like a lacrosse stick, or like having like, I don't even know, like crushing a ball or something. That'd be
that's the thing about the zodiac. You can incorporate many different things in like just like you could have like the zodiac kind of symbol as just the character, and then you can incorporate many different things on top of, like for Pisces, for example, I know that it is ruled by the Cancer is ruled by the moon, so you can incorporate space stuff, even though that's kind of also part of the spiritual stuff, but you can incorporate many different things that could also represent the zodiac sign. So there's so many ideas I already have from the top of my head, and I'm pretty familiar with the zodiacs. I'm really
I know one thing we've also talked about is experimenting with other, I guess, like astrological zodiac signs. So I know like with the Chinese New Year that there's a bunch of really cool animals that we can also incorporate. So I think we're going to be heading down that route, later in the future as well, just because there's a lot of potential and there's a lot of really cool designs that we can incorporate, especially as we grow and develop as a company or as an organization.
Chinese New Year is, I think, next month. It's the year of the tiger. Oh, wait. Yes. That's going to be
1998.
fucking sick. Year of the tiger. And then, like, what is it? Rabbit, dragon. I don't know.
There's a monkey. There's a rat. There's some other ones.
Snake. There's a snake, ox, and then...
Ox, yeah.
What's the last one? I'm about to look it up. A what?
I don't know if it was a pig or a boar, or maybe I'm thinking about something totally different.
Might be a boar. Maybe something like that.
It was a boar, something like that.
Chinese New Year.
I don't know. I should get more familiar with them. I feel like they'd be really cool to incorporate in my channel.
So it's okay. Pig, rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, and dog. Oh, dude, there's so many we could do with that. That's absolutely insane. Actually, I'm about to get some water. Excuse me.
He's got dry mouth from talking too much.
No, I'm still thinking about the Pisces one, honestly. That would be really cool. Pisces is actually one of the most spiritual, like the most intuitive zodiac. That's what they say about Pisces.
Really?
Most intuitive zodiac. So always listen to your intuition, really. Listen to your gut feeling all the time, because Pisces, also your dreams tend to be very, very, very intuitive. But yeah, Pisces are very, very spiritual.
Interesting. I don't know like many Pisces. The only one I think actually that's a lie. I know a few people that are Pisces, but family wise, I think it's only my grandfather and myself that are Pisces. Everyone else is something else. But
my entire mom's side of the family. Yeah, they're
really
yeah. And you see different versions of the Pisces. It's funny.
Wait, so actually I have a very huge question. So I just learned about, so we have our main zodiac, which is our sun, right? And then we have our moon, and then we have our rising sign, right? So I'm an Aries, but my moon is a Sagittarius. I don't know what my rising is. Like what is the, like, with that significance, like, how do you think we could incorporate those? Because that's interesting. Like we could do, like, if someone asked for like a custom one almost. Alex, you okay? Oh yeah, okay. Alex, you're frozen.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed that whole thing.
That's such a good idea. Let me tell you something. That's a really good idea, because people are now starting to really get into the sun, moon, and rising, and like the different planets and their birth chart in general. If you incorporate all of the symbols in one card of their sun, moon, and rising, that would be awesome. Like I would love to have that. That's pretty cool.
Sick. Alex,
definitely be like very personalized. Sorry.
just like a recap. It was I was asking about like how could we incorporate the sun sign and then our moon and then our rising sign.
Yeah, I think the card would be really cool. Geez, I think there's a lot that can be done with that. Maybe something with the auras, or I think there's a lot to be done with that. Going off of like the whole rising thing, something that's come up, and I feel like it's been around for a while now. Is the whole, I guess, like dating within astrology symbols or building relationships within that. How do you feel about that? Because that's something that's always been kind of off-putting to me when it comes to like astrology and stuff. It's like, are you going to base something off of when someone's born? But it seems like there has been instances where people do not go well. Like people just do not mingle well with specific signs. That's what I've realized now.
You know, the thing is, I actually agree with you on that. That is very off-putting that someone says, ew, you're a Pisces. I'm not going to date you because I've hated all past Pisces, or, oh, you're too sensitive for me, without even getting to know the person. So first of all, nobody can define you based off of your birth chart in general, but your sun sign specifically, because your whole birth chart is what defines you in general. But secondly, I don't agree with that, because if anything, I use astrology to my benefit. So if I am with someone, I don't say, ew, you're like this, you're this astrology sign, like I can't mingle with you. I'd be like, oh, okay, so you're an Aries, so I know you would like to do something fun and adventurous. So let's go out and do something fun and adventurous. I'd use it to my benefit. Or if somebody is extremely sensitive and they're a water sign, in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's okay, they're a water sign. They're always gonna be like sensitive like that. I'm not gonna like put them in the corner just because they are. So if anything, I use it to my benefit. If I'm with friends with someone or talking to someone, I love using zodiac signs to my benefit and asking them about that. But I don't agree with people who just kind of not want to talk to you or not want to meet you or not want to date you because your astrology signs don't mix or whatever. I don't agree with that. It's the person. Is the person good or bad to you? That's it.
Because zodiacs are very subjective. So like it may give you a broad aspect of like who you are, like your personality, but it doesn't really define like who you really are.
No. It's like the foundation, and then like you're the one who builds yourself up. You're the one who sees what you want to do with that.
Exactly.
I think that's something that comes with like the whole like knowledge and education of like when it comes to spirituality and astrology, and it's not okay, well this is what you are because you were born here. It's like these are just traits that can come into multiple different aspects of your life. It's not that they're bound to you in a specific way. They will come in different methods. So I think that's something that a lot of people like myself, it's nice to hear that there's more to it than just black and whiteness.
Yes, exactly. A lot of people just kind of stick it to like black and white.
Exactly. Well, all right, guys. With this, does anyone have any like closing thoughts? Because we are out of time. Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about, or no? We're all
actually going to ask a really, really deep question, but if we're out of time, we can save it for the next one.
Let's ask it. Ask away, please. I want to know.
All right. So, Lily, more and more, I consider someone like in this group of people, we're seeing religious, like organized religions, kind of maybe people moving away from them and not seeing that they're not spiritual or they're not religious anymore, but more just saying, and I've heard this and I've said this before too, it's I'm not like necessarily religious, I'm spiritual. Do you see that being a trend that continues that way, where people become more spiritual?
Yes, because honestly, in my own thoughts, I'm going to say in my own thoughts, I'm not saying anything's like fact. Every single religion is the same. Every single religion is the same. Yes, there's like details here and there, but all of them revolve around like praying to or focusing on a higher vibration, whether that be gods, goddesses, your angels, your spirit guides. the universe or your own higher vibration, and every single one knows that there is some form of heaven and hell. I do believe heaven and hell is here on earth. So there are certain things that I take from different religions and incorporate them into my spirituality. But I was talking about this with my brother today. It's all the same thing. And I do feel more people are going to finally be open-minded, especially the newer generations, are going to finally be more open-minded into just saying that they're spiritual, not saying that they're Christian or Catholic or Muslim or Jewish or whatever it is, just saying that they're spiritual. So I see that happening, and I'm happy that it's happening, because I do feel a lot of the time religion tends to separate us into groups when it should have never been like that in the first place. It's supposed to bring all of us together. So yeah, I hope more people are being open-minded to being more spiritual.
Actually, playing off that, there was something that Michael was talking about. It was like, so like heaven and hell, right? They're like defined, but it's always so vague as to why you would go to either place. Like obviously like hell is a little bit more defined than heaven, but like it's like there's no like if you do bad things you go to hell, if you do good things you go to heaven, but where's the actual like guide, right? Because like good things can be subjective, bad things can be subjective. It's based on your own personal conscience, right? So what Michael was talking about was like, instead of it being heaven or hell, it's like that, it's that last like amount of brain power that you have like right before you die. So like say that you had a lot of negative energy when you were about to die, right? Your DMT release would then give you a negative space, right? But if you're like super happy when you die, then you would be given that like positive space. Like your DMT would just like whatever world you go into whenever you die, you would just be either positive or negative based on your final energy. Like I don't know. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Wow, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah,
that is interesting.
That was pretty.
That's really cool, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like, in a sense, you make the decision of how you feel based off of your whole entire life. You know, like if you feel like you were just like an old grump the whole time and mean to everyone, then you might look back with only regret and like negative feelings. But if you've lived a really happy life, you might end your life feeling grateful that you were able to live such a good life.
Exactly.
Dang. Okay. Actually, I think that was a pretty good place to close out, guys.
Yeah, that was good.